let's now go to the actual meaning of the song, because of course there was at the one side the two persons sitting like in front of their PCs and producing music, but because you've described it at the beginning of what you've just said at the making part, it was the time when like the Corona crisis just started, and maybe you want to talk about like in which sort of state, in which mindset, in which like sort of personal crisis you've been, if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so let me introduce the context. So basically, the pandemic really, I guess, like it has gotten us reflexive in general about so many things in our lives. It's been also a time to just think about the past, think about the future, think about your present, and really just overthink things, pretty much, I would say. And it was a very good time in that sense to come back and see what's really happened and see what's really better now in the future, what's not that good but can be improved. And among all of those thoughts, I really thought about the most shocking, lowest point that I have been into in the last couple of years. And I just wanted to use that because I thought it was so strong that that could really settle the turning point of the storyline of my EP. And that's why actually I started working on my EP with this track. And that's why Broken started so early. So basically, I wrote this track based on a personal experience back in 2018. I really had a very tough year, just with a mixture of a lot of personal stuff, personal shit going on. And there was just like a KO just thing that happened, just a thing that really hit me hard, really made me hit rock bottom, really just made me KO, you can say, if you want to express it like that. But I just basically ended up with a toxic relationship with the distance. And for me, it was just such a huge loss. I was really stuck on it, and it really felt like the end of the world to me, for real, for the first time. And I think that feeling, earlier or like sooner or later, it comes to anyone. That's gonna happen in anybody's life at some point, because that's what life is about. It's about ups and downs.
No one has to be ashamed.
Of course,
everyone got through this.
And I really just felt so down, felt so at the same time lost after such a huge loss, and of course mostly empty, because it was really just a feeling of pure emptiness. Like you just lost like the most important thing to you in the moment. So I really started from there, and I actually gave this track a very relatable approach, because I think regardless of how you've come to that point, you really can go and feel that low in life. So basically, I just felt so empty and so lost, and at the same time so misunderstood, because that's really, I think, what it describes best, this situation where you just feel, I don't know, you just feel like you're just lacking a little bit your personality, you're lacking joy, you're just feeling half, or not even half, you're just not feeling yourself. And nobody can understand that or bring the solution back to that, because it's impossible. There's no way back to really get that, fill that empty space. And I really just wrote the lyrics starting from there, and that's what actually I picture in the first verse. Really just the feeling of having got such a bitter year. So basically that's why it started with verse 1. Like verse 1 starts with feeling like a withered rose, because it's such a bitter year, such a, I can even say dark year, that when things turn out badly for you, so it's like you're darkening yourself by your own, you're just going into a black hole, everything's starting to get worse, you're starting to feel worse. And it really feels like the end, so that's how verse 1 ends. I'm wondering if this is the end, I'm wondering if this is it. So that's really like a very settled lines for verse 1 to really introduce the context, because that's really how everything happened and how everything felt to me. Then when we come to the pre-chorus, that's really the topic to stress. Is just the
and you realize
the anxiety or just the need of wanting to break out of that, just to really like escape from that dark reality, and really I don't know, just avoid it, because you want to avoid it. You're just feeling that, I don't know, shit reality every single day. You just want to avoid it. You're so resented, you're so devastated that you really want to avoid that. So it's like, the pre-chorus goes like, I just want to break out of all the things this is about. It just reinforces the idea that the verse 1 introduces. And yeah, that's really what the pre-chorus is meant to express.
Then we come to the chorus.
Yeah, and the chorus it's purely like a first rage, just like a rage belt, screaming help, screaming, I don't know, just resentment.
It's just, I think, at that point, the realization where you add, because maybe a little bit off topic, so you have a little thinking pause, little tea pause. When you're facing problems, the first and the most important thing when approaching personal problems or external problems, you have to name your problem. You have to name your feeling. You have to make it clear to yourself and maybe to your surroundings if necessary. If you just think about it, and if you're not like cleared up, if you're not can really classify what is it, then how should you even be able to face it in the first place? So what, for example, when I approach problems, I firstly write them down. And there is what Jaime did best at the chorus. He really screams out, I'm feeling broken. That is just my current state, and I don't have to be ashamed of that, because everyone is feeling like at some point. And that's, I just love it. And you can really feel the stressfulness. You can really feel your emotions right there, because it's true. And therefore, if you're just maybe lonely, some people out there are lonely, they're screaming together with you, and it's just there your emotions can go through this emotional sort of a pipeline or whatever you want to call it. You get a sort of relief.
Yes, it feels really on point.
Yeah.
That resentment really gets captioned.
Yeah.
Really gets portrayed. Yeah, so basically the repetitive melody of the chorus, at first it was actually really soft. Kind of like, falsetto, as I've sang it before. But then, as we just said, we really wanted to express that resentment. So instead of keeping it soft, I decided it would be better if we gave it a more aggressive, touch, and that's how I ended up.
And that was
after a lot of takes, because
that really took a lot. Screaming and on key, like on the melody, was so hard. Maybe we can show here a little picture of your recording studio at that place, and that was, even for me personally, because I've never worked with screaming vocals, and it was just so frustrating.
Like a very, it was just. I think that's definitely the most difficult recording that I've approached, but not only because of the difficulty of the recording, but also because of the fact that you really need to keep in mind both things, technique-wise and emotion-wise.
Yeah.
It's really like a belt. Like you're literally like living your gut, like everything. It's so exhausting.
And even the thing, maybe we can talk about this. Just mentioning it here. You recorded this, I think, right before you moved to Canada. So there was just a particular time span, sort of, like I don't know how many days. 4, 5 days.
I think it was 4 days with breaks. That's how I say it.
4 days because you really hurt your throat and you couldn't speak like a tone.
No. It wasn't just because of like fatiguing yourself, but also because of the rush. Because I was kind of moving out, so I was so overwhelmed.
Kind of moving out, dude. You moved from Spain to Canada. It's kind of moving out, dudes. It's like half of the world you traveled.
Yeah. I was moving on, of course. So that really didn't help to get the recording done.
But you've done it, and you did a great job, and really respect on that one because it sounds really, really nice.
So okay, so back to the lyrics, back to the story. So once the chorus just got done. Now talking about the second verse. The second verse is really, I already wrote wrote it to reinforce the idea introduced in verse 1 when it comes to expressing that just your routine feels like absolute, I don't know, like an absolute nightmare. It just feels like there's something that you don't want to go through. You just don't want to have another day. You prefer to go to sleep and just stay asleep. Like that's really what the first line says. My days feel like a nightmare because I'm running out of air. That's the second. That second line is more. It's more a reflection of what I really felt that day. When that day and the next couple of days, when I just ended that relationship and I just had that huge loss. I really couldn't breathe. When I went to sleep, I was just constantly thinking about that, and I really had difficulty to breathe. I was so anxious. I have just that throat feeling that it hurts. You can breathe. You're just anxious. You're lacking breath, and that's really what that second line portrays. Because I'm running out of air, and I just can't stand this. There's no way I can keep going like this all the nights, going to sleep and thinking about it constantly. That's really what the second verse stresses. Because it's like the post. It's just the development of your feelings after that loss. How worse it can get. As the verses are so immersive, I really wanted to match that immersion with going more in depth with those feelings related to the theme of the track.
Definitely.
So that's really,
I think that really sums up the whole meaning of the track, and especially when you just as a sort of normally listener, sort of you're listening through the song and you're like, okay, that's emotional, but there is an actual story behind that. Maybe not everyone is thinking about that we really worked hard on that track just to put it out in that way that it is right now.
I'm feeling broken.